What's up, guys? So I know I'm a little bit late in making this video. I want to try to give you guys as many tips and as many, helpful hints for MLB The Show 18 as I can. And right now in Diamond Dynasty, as most of us know, I was about to say the Forever event, the opening week event is live right now, and it's going through April 10th, or at least through noon Pacific time on April 10th. So really just the morning of that day. So there's still a good week left to get all the wins that you need if you're trying to get that Lenny Dykstra, if you're trying to just get a couple 12-win runs, you maybe get a Diamond Player Award or something like that. Whatever you're trying to do, there's still about a week left, so you don't have, like, it'll sneak up on you. That day will sneak up on you, but you do still have time, so plan your time accordingly. But anyway, what I wanted to do in this video is I wanted to give you guys a couple tips and mainly give you guys a couple players that are really good for this event, because when you're building your team overall cannot be greater than a 70 overall. And sometimes I can get pretty, you have to get pretty creative with how you build your team, and you really have to know which guys are good for building a specific team in this event. So there's a couple players that are really nice for this event that do really well for your squad. So let's go ahead and go over a couple of them. Also, in the comments, let me know who has been your best player in this event, whether it be a position player or a pitcher or whatever it is. Let me know down in the comments who's been your best player. So I currently have an event run going on, so I can't really show you a draft for the event. I'm 3-0. I'm not really looking to sabotage that run for the video's sake. So what I do whenever I'm drafting my starting pitching, because they are 6-inning games, I like to take the lowest overall starting pitchers that I have. So I usually have like the last 5 guys. So 52 overall to 49 overall. That does a really nice job at getting your team overall. And basically what I do is these guys start the game, and then they literally throw one batter, because they have to throw a batter, and then I just go straight to the bullpen. And in the bullpen, I like to bolster it with at least 5 gold relievers. Now, that could be interchangeable depending on what type of player you like, whether you have a really good gold that you want to use more than others, or you want to have all gold hitting and you'll sacrifice some spots in your bullpen. Whatever it is, I personally like to have a lot of good bullpen arms, because later in those games, they're going to be very important. So some of the guys that I really like to use are this flashback Tony Watson. This is a collection reward for the Pirates, so you do have to spend stubs to get like Felipe Rivero and guys like that, so you have to complete their collection. But this is a really nice card. Tony Watson is always good, especially his live series is still good. He's got a really funky release, and he's got a sinker with a slider, like those two pitches going off one another and then mixing in the changeup. Really nice card. So I use the 80 overall just because I have him, and I've built my team in a way that I can actually fit him in my roster. So I really like this Tony Watson for the bullpen. Good lefty card. I also really like this Drew Storen that you get from Conquest. Really good velocity and a break, pretty solid per nines, 88 and 80. He's 88 and 80. He's also got a slider and a sinker as well, same thing as Tony Watson. He's basically just a right-handed Tony Watson in my opinion. He's got a changeup, slider, sinker, four seam, the same pitches. So those are a couple bullpen arms. I also like to use Brad Hand a little bit. I also like to use Zach Britton. As far as the other righties, I can't remember who I have. I think I have Nate Jones in there, but I kind of have him in there as like a last resort. I've been mixing up some other guys like Wade Davis and Felipe Rivero, and just kind of mixing it in. But I like to have a lot of golds in my bullpen, and then so I usually have like 5 or 6 golds, and then the other spots, whether it be 1 or 2, I usually have like the lowest overall bullpen guy that I have to bring my team overall down. And remember, guys, in this event, you cannot go higher than an 82 overall on any individual player, so that's why I'm not putting in guys like Ozuna or Fernando Rodney or anything like that. I'm just trying to remember that these are the overalls that you can have. So catcher, I think the biggest thing that you're going to want is just have a pretty solid defensive catcher. For me, it's kind of tough to find one that can actually have a little bit of hitting stats, but the guy that I have the most success with is probably Francisco Cervelli. 67-80 contact is fine, 65 vision is nice, and the fielding is decent. It's pretty good, so I usually go with Cervelli. Now at first base, there's a lot of different guys you can go with. For me personally, I think first base, you can go with a lower overall guy because there is a lot of power and a lot of depth at this position. So you go down to like, you get guys like Matt Olson, he's got 96, 73 power. You could use him if you want. You're not going to get a lot of contact out of him, and you don't really need to care about his defense, but having that power right there is really nice. So the guy that I've been using, I've actually been using a silver over at first base. I've been using Edwin Encarnacion. He's got good power, 90, 82, plus good contact versus righties, 70, and then 59 against lefties with 66 vision. His fielding couldn't care less about as long as he's over there at first base and he's actually hitting the ball. I don't really care what his fielding or speed is. So good hitting stats, and I don't need to use a high overall card. You can use like an Eric Hosmer, or you can use a Miguel Cabrera. I just think it's kind of a waste to put that much overall at this position when there's so much depth in some of the lower guys. A really good card to use for the middle infield, whether it be shortstop or second, I've mixed them around. Cesar Hernandez from the Phillies, really nice, 80 and 90 contact, and he's also got 78 speed. He is going to be a great top of the order guy because he is also a switch hitter. So he has good contact against both sides. He can hit from both sides, and he has speed. So if you get him on base, 78 speed to start off your order, this is really good. So I highly recommend you put Cesar Hernandez, whether he be at second base or at shortstop. You can use him at third, but that arm strength is going to be a little bit suspect. So just be careful where you put him. I definitely recommend middle infield though. Over at third base, there's a couple different guys you could go with. The one I've been using is Jake Lamb, 75-80 against righties. Like, he's so good against right-handed pitching, it's ridiculous. He's been a glitch in every MLB The Show for years now. Also, he, you know, his numbers may not look very good against lefties, 32 and 59 contact power, but I do fairly well with him against lefties, to be honest. Like, I'm not fantastic, like I probably get out a lot, but like every now and then I'll get a hold of a ball and I'll hit it pretty hard. So, you know, Jake Lamb is not totally obsolete against lefties, but against righties, he's going to absolutely kill the ball. Another guy that's going to be really good for you in this event is Joey Gallo. He's listed as a first baseman, but I highly recommend putting him at third base because he's got 87 arm strength, and I don't know how I just said that without even looking at the power. He's got two attributes over 100 overall, 102 power against righties with 100 discipline. Now, the real issue with using Joey Gallo, I love using this card. The main problem is that 13 vision. When you get contact, when you actually make solid contact, that ball is flying. But it's going to be hard to get that solid contact because his PCI is going to be so small. And God forbid you face a really good righty out of the bullpen, or a really good lefty for that matter, who has a high hits and Ks per 9. It's going to be really tough to make that good contact. But if you are good with the PCI and you're good at placing it, Joey Gallo is going to be a really nice card because balls are going to just fly off his bat. Another infield guy that I like is Neil Walker. He's a switch hitting second baseman. So I've been starting Neil Walker at second base and putting Hernandez over at shortstop. I've been kind of mixing up my middle infield a little bit, trying to find a good second base combo with Hernandez. So, you know, Neil Walker is good. He's a switch hitter. He's going to do fine to plate, 71-67 contact with 63-54 power and 70 vision. He's not amazing. He's kind of just middle of the road all around, but every now and then you might get a ball in the gap. You might get a base hit down the line or something. Don't look to hit too many home runs with this guy. The power is not terrible, but, you know, he's not really known for that. He's mainly just going to be a solid switch hitter. You're not going to have to play matchups with this guy. He's going to hit from both sides. So that's a big plus. And, you know, there comes a point when there's player preference as well. I'm kind of comfortable with his stance. It's more of just how I perform with Neil Walker in my lineup. I don't know. I feel like I get more hits just because of the reason that I'm kind of comfortable with his batting stance. I don't know, that's just me, but I like Neil Walker. Couple other guys you could use in the middle infield. Trevor Story over at shortstop is really nice, 89 power against lefties. If you have a lefty on the mound and maybe you want to put, or if your opponent has a lefty on the mound and you maybe want to start Trevor Story, you're going to start off that game with a lot of good power against lefties, but it is kind of a trade-off. You know, the fielding's pretty good, 75 arm strength, but then again, he is a 76 overall. He is a silver, so, you know, you have to play around with overalls and when you're building your team. Also, Jean Segura, I've liked a lot, 81, 79 contact with 81 vision. Jean Segura is really good. The fielding is pretty suspect, so maybe you want to put this guy over at second base instead of shortstop because he's only got 55 arm strength, and 69 speed is not too bad in itself. Another guy that's not too bad, but I would recommend any of the other guys I said first, is Miguel Rojas, 77, 66 contact with 90 vision. The 90 vision right there is really important. The problem with him is just the defense, 39 arm strength, so honestly, he's a shortstop by trade, but you're gonna have to put him at second base if you want to have any sort of luck at getting runners out, especially guys with over like 70 speed. It's gonna be really hard with Miguel Rojas to make good throws from shortstop, so it's mainly a defensive issue with this guy. The contact and the vision is really nice though. All right, looking in the outfield, you could kind of go in a bunch of different directions, so I'll just say some of the players that I have used that I like. Marcell Ozuna has been a maniac in this event for me. He has been hitting the ball so hard, so many home runs, doubles all day. Like, this guy's a beast, and he's a really good fielder. 90 fielding, 74 74 arm strength. Like, he's going to be really good. I usually just throw him in center field and kind of mix up my outfield depending on what I'm feeling right there. Kind of want to build my lineup lefty-righty as well. So I highly recommend Ozuna for this event if you don't have him yet. He's so good. I also have been using JD Martinez in right field. Amazing hitting. I mean, you guys know what JD Martinez is all about. He's also got 77 arm strength with 82 arm accuracy. So, I mean, the fielding is 47, so don't expect him to make crazy plays on the ball, but if a guy tries to run on him, he's probably going to have a good probability of throwing that guy out. So JD Martinez, really solid bat, great against lefties, dude. 96 power against lefties, fantastic. As far as the other outfield spots, other golds that I've used, Justin Upton, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like the opposite of Neil Walker. Like, I'm just not very comfortable with Upton's stance. I feel like his swing is a lot more like late oriented. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of a weird like thing I've got, but I feel like I'm not as good with Justin Upton just because of a player preference sort of thing. I've also used the 82 overall Billy Williams a little bit. Not a huge fan of this card. Like, the stats are good, but once again, it's just a comfortability factor. Haven't really been hitting the ball as well as I should. I'm starting to use Christian Yelich a little bit. I kind of like his batting stance. The 64 vision is pretty good. The 90 fielding, I usually put him in left field, so there's a couple different directions you can go with this guy. I've been using him a little bit more. I've also tried Brantley a little bit. He's got good contact with good vision. I don't know. I've been really mixing up my left and right field matchups, but mainly Marcell Ozuna has been like a staple for me in center. Conforto wouldn't be a bad pick as well. 81, 83 against righties with 49 vision. He'd be a pretty good corner outfielder. One guy that I really like is Chris Davis. That 94, 84 power is insane. He's just not going to be a very good defensive guy out there. You're going to have to put him in a corner spot, and mainly left field because he's not throwing anybody out with that 52 arm strength. So that power is super nice. Some other guys that I have used would be Colby Rasmus, mainly for the bench with that 74-70 power, nice left-handed power bat coming off there. Mark Trumbo, kind of the opposite, just a right-handed power bat. But yeah, these are some of the guys that I've used in this event that I've had a lot of success with. Obviously, Jabari Blash, you have to get him in your lineup. Like, what are you doing if you don't have Jabari? So yeah, there's a lot of good cards in here that their overall doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. You really have to look at each and every player and kind of play towards your strengths. If you're not a very good power hitter, then you want to draft guys with contact and speed, and, you know, kind of work with the bases a little bit. If you're not a very good contact hitter and you mainly use power swing all the time, you want to take the guys with good power. Nelson Cruz is another really good power bat for this event. I don't even know how I forgot to mention this guy. 90 arm strength in left field or right field, either way. You know, he's going to be really good. How did I forget to mention Nelson? So yeah, guys, there's a lot of good players in here. I try to name some silvers and some bronzes and stuff for you guys. But the main thing, draft a entire common bullpen, or I'm sorry, an entire common rotation, really solid bullpen, and then just try to mix and match with your offense as far as, like, you know, keeping it balanced with lefty and righties and stuff. This is my ranked seasons lineup, by the way. This is not my event, so if you're seeing it weird, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the tips that I got for you guys. Hopefully I helped out a little bit. You know, there's a lot of good budget guys in here that you can use. Like I said in the earlier part of the video, if you know anybody that you are using in the event that absolutely is just killing it for you, type it in the comments. Maybe somebody can get an idea down there too. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Next event, I'll try to have this video out a little bit earlier so you guys can start building your team beforehand instead of, you know, me being a couple days late on it. But thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Drop a thumbs up on it if you did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to keep up with all of the new MLB The Show 18 info. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.